Nobody wants to be labeled as that gamer who doesn't play well with others, and I'm going to tell you right now how to avoid it. Today, let's talk about collaboration. Collaboration. This is one of the fundamental hallmarks of role-playing games, in my opinion. From what I've seen, because, let me say it this way. This has been my experience. I have seen that the most fun games, whether I was playing them or observing them, were games in which all of the players worked together. Even if there was some conflict between some of the players, some, ruffled feathers, some playful jabs and poking and that sort of thing, that can work. That works best when you are comfortable with and familiar with the other players. Like if they're your good friends, then that stuff works great. The evidence of that is in nearly every session of Critical Role. They do a fantastic job because they're good friends, because they trust each other with practical jokes and silliness at the table in the game. That being said, if you're playing with others and it's the first time you've ever played with them, it's probably not the best opportunity to throw salt into a wound, throw a monkey wrench into the engine, or whatever other metaphor you'd like to use. The point is, don't mess with what a good thing is, because if you mess with the other players, there's a really good likelihood you'll put someone on the defensive. And that's the absolute opposite of what we want to be doing when we're playing D&D or another RPG. We, in this game, if we work together and collaborate, can have tons of fun, and it will hugely increase the survivability of your group. So when you do things that are counter to that, when you try to steal things from the other players, when you intentionally mislead the other players, when you keep things from them with a malevolent intention, it never works out well. I mean, this is kind of a fact of life, but it holds really, really true in my experience at the gaming table. On the opposite end of that, well, what do you do? How do you avoid that? What should you do? What I find, what I enjoy, what seems to me, in my experience and from my observations, to work best is to find ways to either lift up or compliment the other players. And I don't mean compliment in the sense of like, wow, what a nice axe you've got there. That's not, I mean, you can do that too, but that's not what I mean. What I mean by compliment is making a good compliment. In other words, a glove is a good complement to your hand. It fits your hand, right? So you want to work together well. In other words, if you're playing a mage and you have access to haste, casting haste on the best fighter in the party is probably a good compliment. It's good strategy, right? It's a nice way to work together, and you can do that not only mechanically, but you can do that with RP. And what I found, one of the most simple ways to do that in RP, ask questions of the other players, genuine questions, like you really care about this other player's character, like your character genuinely cares about the other player's character. That will create moments for good RP, asking questions. Furthermore, if you see someone else that's having a challenge, whether it's, an emotional challenge or a challenge in a situation, you can offer assistance. Like, hey, can I help you with that? Not only that, you can find ways to encourage the other players. Like, you come to a door and the DM says, oh, it's clearly got a very difficult and intricate lock on it. Say to the rogue in the party, like, hey, this is probably going to be no problem for you. Little things like that. When you collaborate in that way, when you encourage, when you add to. It's like you're building something. You don't want to take stuff away. You want to add onto it, right? You want to add into it to make it that much tastier. There's something called hobo stew. Do you know what hobo stew is? If not, let me tell you real quick. Here's my version of what hobo stew is. Back when the trains were the best way to get across the country, we had hobos running around the country. These were generally good fellas and good gals that maybe were just down on their luck. You know, the Great Depression and things like that happened and hit us. And what happened was people would band together and maybe they had a tomato or a potato or a stick of butter or a piece of cheese or some meat or whatever it was. And whatever they had, they would contribute it to the soup. And that would make the stew that much better, because water and potato stew is kind of boring. But if we add in a carrot, not bad. We add a little bit of meat, beef, whatever, not bad. That might be even better. Hey, we got some peppers, we got a little bit of salt. Now we're talking. So this is the way to play your game and get the same result. Because if it's one person that's always trying to fight the bad guys, well, why are you even playing D&D unless you're playing solo with one DM and one player? If you're playing at a table, everybody's got to work together. And the best way to work together is try to think of ways to add to the story without having to be the center of the story. If you can do that, if you can find a way to make other people in the game the star, silly stuff can be really awesome. Like, smash him with your axe, whatever, to the barbarian. Things like that, where you're cheering the other group members on and finding ways to encourage their role playing, encourage their action into the moment. Those are the kind of things that will make collaboration shine. They will make your game memorable and fun and exciting. And on top of that, the added bonus is that people are going to be like, at the end of the game, the people you play with are going to be like, wow, I had a great time playing with Bob. Mary was awesome. She made me feel so great when we were playing, and she was fun and funny. These kind of things will be said about you, and they will be asking you, dare I say, begging you to play in another game with them. Those are the things that I like to do to help build collaborative moments. It is collaborative storytelling. That's what D&D and that's what RPGs are all about. Now, on another level, for today, I will also add one thing about collaboration. This is something exciting I want to share with you, my friends. I am in the process of collaborating with some other individuals within the Dungeons & Dragons and RPG community. I have mentioned this in the past, and I have been asked to review a book. I am really excited about this. I can't wait to get it in my hands so that I can peruse it and then share all of its glory with you. So stay tuned for that kind of stuff. I've got some other cool collaborations as far as YouTube is concerned coming down the pipe. So check those out. I'll see you tomorrow. And remember, it's your game. Play your way. So today on the vlog, I just said so again.